I'm so excited for you to really get the collective unconscious, the collective consciousness. I really want you to understand what's coming up for you in 2020 as well. We've got with us one of my favorite miracle makers. He is the project director of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. He is Earth Day Greater Los Angeles 2020 Clear Vision for Environmental Action. Elijah Carter is third generation Los Angelino, right? Angel, as we call him, third generation, fully embodying Los Angeles. His two BA degrees from UC Santa Cruz. He helped produce several large public events with environmental and artistic and cultural themes, including the first Earth Day South LA. I'm so excited that he's here. He's employed as the lead legislative analyst for solid waste management in LA County. And aside from his work with the county, he serves as a volunteer project director for Earth Day Greater Los Angeles 2020. He joined us for the tail end of this video, and I'm so excited for him to share about Sunday, April 19th, 2020 for Los Angeles is scheduled at LA's Grand Park Civic Center. Welcome, Elijah Carter. I hope I said that correctly.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. I'm so glad that you're here, and thank you for making time for us here.
Thank you. It's a joy to join with you and speak with you. Thank you for the invitation. It's really exciting. It's incredible the kind of joy and passion that people are overflowing with toward moving into the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. It's just really beyond anything I ever imagined, and it really speaks to that we are capable of much more than anything you've ever imagined. So I would really like to just thank you again for having us here to speak, and really would like to talk with you more about what you would like to talk about.
That's so wonderful, Elijah. It's just so wonderful. Growing up in Los Angeles, right, and especially being the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, the challenges that we see within Los Angeles and this incredible community that's being built around April 2020. I'd love for you to just share a little bit that comes. What is your vision for 2020 and what it gives to the children and to the people that are participating?
Well, my vision for 2020 is greatly informed by the youth and the young people and the children. My children are fourth generation Angelinos, and actually the young people have been really rising to the occasion and moving us to transform, to be much more in alignment with the earth. And it was really a blessing about 2 weeks ago when one of the youth organizers came up to me very humbly and asked, he said, I have a proposal. Would you be willing to allow us to launch our Walk for the World from Earth Day Greater Los Angeles, where we would walk across the country to organize for and raise awareness for a climate emergency declaration by the next president. And that 2020 pretends to be the year for massive catalyst and transformation to be in alignment with arresting climate breakdown and arresting toxic plastic pollution and economic justice and environmental justice and just transition and people power and all the wonderful things that people are about.
That extraordinary young man that you're speaking about, Greg
Platone.
Greg Brantone with the walk. And these are the kinds of initiatives that are being introduced and brought together for Earth, brought together because I believe so many humans have had adverse childhood experiences. And those adverse childhood experiences are creating this inability in many to see the challenges of the greater Earth. And so how has Earth Day 2020, the last 50 years, come up with the solution, right? Each one of these Earth Days brings awareness, and along the journey that you've been on, how is this the solution to a lot of those adverse experiences for 50 generations? I'd love for you to talk about some of the events of the past and really share even more what we can expect for the environment, for Earth, for the kids, the youth movement.
I believe in, and I know that all of us in many ways have had adverse childhood experiences. And it's really important, I think, for us to really be conscious and aware and feeling and deciding to be more than that which that we adversely experienced. And that being conscious of patterns or lifestyles, habits, survival methods that we may have developed to survive our childhood, to really rise above that and be in touch with our inner selves, our real child, our real selves, and to recognize what I opened up speaking to, that we are much greater, we are capable of much more than we ever imagined. And that really, in touching and being in that place in that way, we can go beyond and we can transform. And there really is an incredible movement for transformation right now. And people really starting to look at all those different aspects and how do we, take what is really beneficial, meet the challenges and go beyond them, see them simply as that, as challenges, as something for us to experience and rise above and move beyond. And that's really where I'm at, is really finding the joy, the happiness, and really knowing that we are going to overcome, we are going to beat climate breakdown.
We are going to beat climate breakdown. Greg, I would love for you to ask what question is coming up for you. And I see that with 2020 vision, and I see and feel the extraordinary commitment, Elijah, that you've brought, and all of the people in the room organizing this. It's so profound. Greg, I'd love for you to share what question comes up for you.
What comes up is just what practical steps can individuals take?
Oh, go ahead, Elijah. What practical steps can individuals take?
Yes, there's lots and lots of practical steps, and I think it's a creative process at the same time, and really finding what works for you, and really creating what works for you. And for me, I think part of it is a process of really reconnecting with our how can I say, our spirit, where we're really envisioning and inspired and perceiving our fullest potential, and kind of being in that honeymoon, that space again, with our lives and with the world and our vision and our purpose. And in that, moving forward. And sometimes when we embark on this new transformative journey, there's that inception phase where we're really coming into being our full potential. And then some of those negative patterns or those survival mechanisms, that negative self-talk or feedback that we developed, kind of to survive or overcome the adversary in our childhood will come up, kind of like the things that the negative things that we've internalized. And it's really important to push through that phase, to really continue through and know that your vision, your purpose is true, and to be motivated and inspired and to carry on and to change that, to continue in that transformation, so that you go from that inception, that vision, through the deception, the negative feedback, to the transformation, and where you're becoming a master of those new skills, those new aspects and habits that you begin to practice. And then you become, as you continue to master and practice them, you become more, how can I say, unconsciously an expert or master and capable, and you just do it out of just it's become part of you. It's become your new way. And so this practical things that can be is on many different levels in terms of relationship with the climate, arresting climate breakdown and arresting the toxic plastic pollution. To some great extent, there's a need for great awareness for people to be sharing the knowledge and the passion that they have, the vision that they have. It's really important to
Oh, you muted yourself, Elijah. You muted yourself somehow. You got muted. Hold on just for a second. Somehow, let me make sure. Oh, go ahead. You got muted somewhere around sharing yourself and sharing your wisdom and sharing your knowledge.
And yeah, someone called, and I guess that automatically dropped me out of the speaking mode. So yeah, in specifics, what we need to do is really mitigate and arrest our carbon footprint. We need to really reduce our carbon emissions, and that's a big part of that is moving toward more sustainable transportation. There's many big pushes and campaigns and activities and things that people can do about that. A big part is ditching our cars and getting into public transportation, sustainable public transportation. Another part of that is biking and walking and running and jogging, and really being much more sustainable in our mobility. And also in many ways probably giving up a lot of the unsustainable mobility, the airplane flights, which I believe is second in terms of GHG emissions to car transportation. And so there's a lot of different things that we can do. That's dealing with the transportation piece. Our mobility piece is about 50% of the problem. Dealing with our waste pieces, moving toward zero waste, sustainable circular economy, really mitigating a big chunk of GHG emissions comes from our organic waste, our food waste, agricultural waste, landfill waste, and forestry waste. Produces a huge amount of methane. Addressing methane is one of the key tactics or strategies right now in terms of mitigating climate change. It's a short-lived climate pollutant, which means it has a very short lifespan, about 10 years. And so if we reduce our methane, our short-lived climate pollutant emissions significantly now, that can have significant benefits in the next decade. And so that's a primary area of focus as well. in terms of that, things that people could do is BYO, bring your own containers, cups, plates, forks, knives. Stop utilizing plastics. Plastics is expected to triple its GHG emissions as the fossil fuel industry pushes to find new markets for its oil, as electrification in the car, in the transport, sustainability occurs in the transport sector. They're really looking at pushing the petrochemicals and plastics. So it's really, and that's expected to expand to over 10% of the GHG emissions in the next few years. So it's really important that we put that in check and really address the single-use plastics and plastics production. There's a number of other aspects, but those are two key areas that people could address at this time.
So beautiful. Greg, anything else you want to ask before moving forward?
No, that was a great answer, though. Thank you, Elijah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm not sure how much time you have for us. I'm just so grateful that, you know, you are the project director, 50th anniversary of Earth Day for Los Angeles, Vision for Environmental Action. And there you listed so much of this incredible environmental action. And being 2 degrees from UC Santa Cruz, knowing this environmental issue is the biggest gift, but the solution, the vision is the biggest gift we can give the next generation and children. And what can we personally do to help this April 2020 event?
Love on yourself, love on people. Just, I mean, we need all the positive energy just really flowing constantly, continuously. We really need to just be in the zone all the time. Specifically for Earth Month and Earth Day, Greater LA on Sunday, April 19th at the LA Civic Center and Grand Park. We are building a massive coalition. There's a number of incredible organizers and coalition members part of this, from unions, youth, indigenous groups, environmental justice groups. It's really powerful coalition that's building with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of members. And we would love for people to support in, you know, the ways that, you know, with their strengths, in the ways that they are very joyful and passionate about being a part of all of this. The way that we're setting it up is structurally is that coalition members will, you know, participate in the planning and the decision-making process, and making and promoting Earth Day Greater LA and the month, and in return, being part of the coalition, will all be there, having tabling and educational, informational, and interactive activities, and art sculptures, a giant, we're putting together a giant plastic exhibition of plastic trash made into animals that are either extinct or near extinction, being impacted by the climate crises and plastic crises. Giant animals on a giant world map that you know, shows where their habitat is, and people will be able to interact and walk through this giant sculpture or plastic exhibit. Immersive echo dome, dialogue tents, a real results dialogue tent, integrating science, sustainable transportation, 100% renewable energy, zero waste event, just all of these aspects we're bringing together. We're looking at starting with a 4 directions run that morning, a northern leg, you know, just a decent distance, maybe a couple of hours, you know, starting like the northern leg, maybe in South Carolina or Arroyo Seco, going down to 5 degrees to Grand Park, and then another one from East LA Boyle Heights, the community services organization building where Cesar Chavez was trained, past the Earth Crew murals into to Grand Park. Another from the south, maybe starting at one of the oil extraction sites to bring attention to the call for 2,500-foot setback to oil extraction in Los Angeles, the urban oil extraction capital of the world. To really focus on ending that. And, up past the Coliseum, USC, Pershing Square to Grand Park, and a western leg, maybe from Lafayette or MacArthur Park to, from the heart of the Central American community to LA Civic Center, Grand Park. So that would be a wonderful thing for people to participate in, that run slash ciclavia style march type of gathering. And then, there's just going to be so many different meaningful interactive experiences for so many different people, part of this Earth Day Greater LA, as well as being part of the network. When people go to the website, it'll list all the different events that all the different coalition members are doing around Earth Day, Earth Month, so that to really highlight different resources and ways that people can get involved locally in their communities with different groups that are near them or along different themes that are important to them throughout the greater LA area. So there's just so many different things that people can do to be part of this, and we would just love for people to be loving.
To be loving, and that's so beautiful. Miracle Makers, we are with Elijah, with the whole coalition, writing a pledge, and we're inviting people, 1 billion people is our goal, to sign that pledge for a pledge allegiance to Earth. And it's being written at Mother Earth. The wording and the language will get very, very specific, but 1 billion people involved around the world with the pledge. Locally, 50,000 plus people in attendance. The run in 4 directions. I can't commit for my kids, but I can commit from Greg and myself that we will run in 2 different directions. If we can get our kids to go in the opposites, it'll be so beautiful. Just such a gift that to be part of this. The work that you're doing, the dedication it's taken for all of the organizations, 50 plus years of this. And right now, what's the best way to get in touch with you if you want to sponsor this event or be part of the development of the next level? We've got Mara Hoffman, who is extraordinary. She recommended Disclosure Fest and One Love Fest. Beautiful friends that host and organize events already with great attendance and great commitment. And so I'm going to make sure that you guys get connected after this. Maura, is there anything you want to ask or share?
Oh, I love your intention and what this is all about. It's fantastic. I don't know if you went to any of the Downtown Disclosure Fest public events that Adrian did. It was amazing, and he had speakers and yoga and music, and Ken Schwenker's done something similar with the One Love Fest. They might be good to partner up with.
That sounds excellent. Yes, that would be great if you could make the connection.
And Maura Hoffman I want to introduce you a little bit. She is the director with the Resonance Project for the ARC, these incredible crystals and these incredible free energy resources coming, intelligence from Nassim Haramein and the Resonance Project, and tools such as the ARC crystal. This right here is advanced kinesia. I'd love for you to say
advanced resonance kinetics.
Advanced resonance kinetics. And so amazing technology that's coming in. We are so excited about your project, Elijah. Carter, and about Earth Day 2020. And we are excited to really bring all of our resources to this. If anyone has a question for Elijah, I know I'm going to make sure you and Maura Hoffman, so you'll have all of the resources of Disclosure Fest that was just downtown.
And one quick question, because I jumped on late in the call. I apologize for that. I'm guessing you've got all kinds of plans, because I know Santa Barbara does an amazing Earth Days where they have live music and they have workshops and they have tons of vendors. Is that your intention as well?
Yes, there's going to be probably 4 different kind of concert dance areas, yoga and meditation area, a number of pavilions, including like from different environmental programs, immersion, Echo Dome, all of this stuff we're envisioning, the 4 Direction Run Film Festival, just all of that. So yeah, definitely. And we're
fantastic.
Yeah.
Because the reason I asked, one of the best things you can do is start booking the people now, booking the yoga teachers. Oh, good.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
getting them to start getting their people involved.
Definitely.
Great,
Definitely.
you're on it.
If you have recommendations, that would be great. Dr. Robert Norette, who I believe is a friend of Dr. Sarah Larson, is one of the ones coordinating the yoga and meditation area. Yes, we've already have a number of different artists, performers, and speakers that have this on the schedule. So we're definitely moving things forward and open to recommendations and positive energy and connections that you would love to share.
Awesome. Another big one is Krista Galactica. She's from Long Beach. She does galactivation. She's a yoga teacher, but she also used to coordinate the whole Love Long Beach.
Nice.
Great big community festival, and she ran the whole area that was workshops and yoga and conscious.
Galactica, and we'll make sure that you guys get connected.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to make sure that everyone that wants to ask a question here is able to raise their hand and ask a question. So it's very easy to bring that forward. Oh, yay, CK.
All right. Hi, I love what you do. I live in Marin County and we take Earth Day very seriously. Just an observation that I've had over the years. I was born in Montreal in 1959 and was part of the group of children whose thyroids were trashed by the plumes of the Nevada testing site. And it was only because the Kodak film in New York was being destroyed that they realized what was going on. So while I love to focus on the positivity, what I've observed throughout my life is that we get really overzealous and get so excited about one thing that we're not looking at the ramifications. And as much as I respect Elon Musk, I'm very, very concerned, as are many of the scientists involved with Greenpeace, of the destruction to the atmosphere with nickel dust.
Yes.
And so while they say, oh, well, the nickel, up to X amount percentage is able to be, taken care of, certain countries, the air in Indonesia is being destroyed and the nickel dust is falling into the fish beds and it's destroying the sea life. There are no more giant clams, et cetera, et cetera. So what I would love personally, and I'm squeaking here in Marin, but let's face it, LA is a little bigger than Marin County. What I would love, and to have it worded in a way that's fun, to get all the schools involved, get students involved, get someone who's willing to give a scholarship to some grad student who wants to spearhead a team on how to resolve this, because as we move forward with more electric cars now, for example, and everyone's, yay, isn't that great? It's like, hello, no, batteries, bad for Earth, nickel dust killing people, landing on crops. So to raise an awareness, because I find that humans are so interesting. We're like the child, you know, a little child, and you hold something that's shiny and the child will just go to grab it without looking at the consequence or the entire picture. So, and what I hope and my intention and my, you know, focus is to have people look more at the entire big picture, so that we don't get, yay, isn't that great? Well, great, now you've just blown a hole in your garden. Oh, okay, well, that's a slight side effect that might, you know, undermine the structure of the house, but hey, we have this here. So I would love to see brought into the whole Earth Day, exciting, you know, hey, these are things we need to tackle, so that Elon Musk doesn't have to feel attacked, and then the Guardian doesn't have to get angry because he won't turn over documents. You know, it would just be wonderful to raise an awareness of, you know, there's always the yin yang, but let's find the balance. We don't have to have somebody going on the teeter-totter and going boom in the air and bang on the ground. We can hopefully find balance. Anyway, I hope that does.
That was so beautifully, eloquently said. And I want to just address that a little bit. I loved that he made his inventions or his patents free, and where there wasn't a restriction. This is so unusual. Today, Elon Musk, and we spoke about it earlier, announced, but again, that the patents are available and anyone can utilize them, and Tesla will not come in and sue anyone for using his that whatever technology was developed. And so that great quote with the power of love, overcoming the love of power, by Jimi Hendrix, has been a great part of our conversation today, Elijah. I just wanted to frame that so it sat with and came in.
And so I'm saying I show appreciation, and I am the eternal optimist.
Right.
However, with more electric cars, we have more nickel dust, and it's affecting Russia, it's affecting Indonesia, parts of Canada, which is affecting the crops, the children. So as, you know, one side goes up, we have to address the other, so that we don't have yet another crisis. Preemptive strike, just like we eat properly, meditate, all these preemptive strikes to avoid emotional crisis, you know. So I don't know how, but I offer that to you, and I will send meditation to you daily to see if you can.
Thank you. Yeah, I think part of it is recognizing that the kind of I and individual consumption patterns, you know, we have 5% of the population of the world consuming and creating 40% of the waste, that we've really got to rethink that not just rethink, relive that, create a whole different way that's much more in alignment with the balance of the earth. And it's not rocket science, in my opinion. I think there needs to be massive source reduction, and the current consumption would require, you know, about 5 Earths to be able to provide for that consumption pattern, and there just isn't. And what there is this is our home, this Earth. We are here, and we need to be in alignment and in balance with it. And a big part of that is source reduction and really moving away from all this individualism. So while I see the electric cars, you know, a great thing in terms of tailpipe emissions reductions, you know, still to some great extent, the electrical grid is like 50% or more not renewable. And another piece, kind of getting to those rare earth minerals that you were speaking to, I believe it's the U.S. Geological Society identified that there is maybe, if you mined the ocean floors included, which would mean massive destruction of ocean life, you would be able to come up with maybe 5 to 10% of the rare earth minerals that are needed for the battery supply, the storage supply, for the electrical consumption, the power needs of the global economy at this point. So electrification really isn't a sustainable alternative to some great extent at this point, as much as it is being heralded. And it is probably a good thing to the extent that it can be done in a good way with all those unintended consequences. But it seems to me that a lot of this kind of pursuit of new technology, especially in this time when we are in massive crisis. We have 5 years, maybe 10 years, not to correct the crises that we're in. And so there really needs to be a massive transformation, a massive shift in our thinking and way of being as how we're going to do this and in doing it. And it seems to me like there's this pursuit of, figuring out all these technologies, these new technologies to do carbon capture and get the carbon out of the air. And yet, if you start to look at, to get 1 part per million, and we're talking about the need for some 200 and some plus parts per million of carbon to be taken out of the air, to even achieve 1 part per million reduction of carbon out of the atmosphere would be an astronomical amount of financial investment. Like, we're talking trillions of dollars to do just that with some of these, the most advanced carbon capture technologies that they're developing. And I'm sitting here scratching my head and going, there's a technology that has been around predating us that can do this. Trees, trees. Let's plant more trees. It's tried and true, proven for eons and eons that it works in terms of carbon capturing and creating the oxygen that we also need in the environment. And so there's just so many different things going back to, like, when we start talking about source reduction, our people's traditional ways have been in source reduction and conservation for thousands and thousands of years. It's not new. It's been part of our traditions and our cultures and our society. And so really, it's really getting grounded and getting real about what we're dealing with, and recognizing, I think, along the theme of, not having patents on certain things, that these are common goods, common, how can I say, realm, common shared environment that we can do together. Which is very much against, I guess, or in counter trend to the current trend of all this privatization and making massive profit, greed off of owning things rather than sharing.
Owning things rather than sharing. You cannot own a tree, right? You cannot own your breath.
Well, Marin County, when they come along and say, we're charging you $10,000 to do it, you own it. No, I'm just kidding.
But there's massive movement to plant trees now, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And I'm not sure if you guys are aware of Ecosia, but using Ecosia as a search engine instead of Google, helps to plant trees. And there's just so many groups, or the Earth Day Network is working on it. Just so many different people are working on planting trees. And so there's a lot of good things happening that we can do.
Thank you for that brilliant question and that brilliant share. And truly, and I'd love for you to share with us how to get in touch with you. This is going to go on YouTube. So is it best to email? Is it best to and Facebook and all the other social media platforms that we have access to? We'd love to, what's the best way to, the pledge will be out and about and shared. What's the best, we'll have 1 billion people with that. What's the best way for the 50,000 to RSVP that might be in attendance, or those that want to contribute and sponsor?
RSVP, that's a great idea. 50,000, yeah. So we've reserved one website, earthdayla.live, earthdayla.live. And so that ought to be up and running in about a month. we will probably will also be listed on our fiscal sponsor SEEE, Save Our Planet's website. There's about 20 different environmental projects there, I believe, will be listed there. I'm hesitant to give out my email for 50,000 RSVPs. So probably that would be the best place, is the earthdayla.live. At this point, yes, I do. My personal email is ecadvising, ecadvising @gmail.com. And yeah, we'll have a phone number up, I'm sure, and all those different ways for people to get a hold of us. There will be a Facebook group, Earth Day Greater LA or Greater Los Angeles. I believe we just have that for the organizers now, but we will have a public one, I'm sure, soon. So yeah, we'll be available and through all the different channels, I'm sure.
Through all the different channels. And if you are seeing this, Miracle Makers, let us know. We'll make sure that you get all of the information. And Elijah Carter, I'm so grateful for all
Thank
the
you.
incredible work that you're doing, and for all the ways, for every child and every adult and every earthling, every tree and every crystal and rock, and everything we get to continue to do because of your commitment and the commitment for the past 50 years. Earth Day, a little bit of the history, I believe it was started as an idea, a concept, and then a event held, and it's been adopted across the world for some time now, where it's international. This Earth Day, 50 years of us. We've only got at most 5 years. So this is the most important way to spend our time. Our daughter just got back from New Zealand, where she planted 150 trees with one organization and 200 with another. And
Nice.
Miracle Makers within this community have planted 2,000 plus trees
Beautiful.
already. And so that, wow, it's so easy to speak about it, but to really go plant a tree every opportunity you get, one for the environment. Greg, anything you want to add, love? Hold on just for a second. Hold on just for a second, baby. You're not unmuted. Go ahead and unmute. There you go.
I was going to say I was having a very important meeting with our daughter Jasmine, so I was not tuned in at that moment when you asked the question. So.
Oh, okay. Anything you want to say to Carter, Mr. Carter?
We're praying for you. That's a lot of energy and a lot of organization and a lot of enrollment. So we're praying for you and praying for the success of this event so that it really spreads the awareness.
Thank you.
The vision that you hold, and my takeaway is public transport as much as possible. I'm adding into that planting trees and truly looking for the organizations. And you mentioned so many, right? The SE, but the ones that are, and I love that CK Kimmy really brought in the point. You really have to be looking to the depth, through the deepest lens, to see the effect of these different solutions. CK, anything you want to add, darling?
Oh no, it was just wonderful to experience your passion. You know, it's not a job, it's a devotion for you, and that jazzes me when I meet people who really it's become their passion. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Moore Hoffman, anything you want to add, love, before we close this segment out?
Just deeply appreciating everyone that took time for this call to help the environment, help the world. Dr. Sarah and Greg, thank you for all your love for so many people, for so many projects, and for this new whole Earth Day project. Thank you for everyone contributing to make us better.
That's so, so beautiful. Thank
I'd
you.
love to say one thing to you. Please pass along to Nasim that over the course of 3 days of doing energy work with the crystal over my little peyote, she opened and is starting to flower. And that's a process with a peyote that usually takes
Wow.
about 2 years. I was blown away.
Whoa, that's amazing. I saw your crystal earlier. That's wonderful.
I have pictures of it, and it's mind-boggling that it opened. It was like watching time lapse.
Please
So,
send that to Dr. Sarah so she could send it to
okay.
me, and I'll share it with Nassim.
Awesome. I'll do that right now.
That's exciting. Thank you. Yeah, they're very powerful.
They're very powerful. This is, so thank you so much for that. These are crystals put together and bring out free, much like may the force be with you. It's the force of resonance coherence. It's the force of, it's such a beautiful, powerful instrument to grow what's possible for all of us. I know Adria piped in just a little bit. Adria, I found you and our people. I just unmuted you. Darling, yes, what would you like to share with Elijah Carter, especially about women and empowerment?
I was at a meeting about, I don't know, last Friday, I think it was, and I met a woman who referred me to a book called Drawdown, and it's actually drawdown.com or .org on the internet. And so the gentleman that wrote the book has gathered together the top experts all over the world to really study the different ways that we can draw down on our consumption on the planet, similar to the things that you're talking about for Earth Day. And over the last 10 years, they established a process to study this, and they came up with a list of 100 items that can draw down our carbon footprint. And one of it's either the third or the sixth way is actually educating women and empowering women, which I thought was really, really interesting. And then right after that is family planning, because when you educate women, they make better choices for their families, and they also they're going to have more population because they understand the impact of increased children and people on the planet. So there's all these wonderful things in this book. So I just started studying it just this past week, and I shared a video in the link. And if you watch the video, he actually shares the top 100 within the video, and he really speaks really highly of this whole process of everyone should do what they know. Once they understand what to do, then he's not saying, oh, this is what you should do. No, we'll all each individually know what to do within our own cells and our own community. So I just thought I would share that with you. I don't know if you've seen the research, but it's in the text I sent. I chatted it to everyone, so you can maybe he can come to Earth Day LA. But I just thought, what an incredible way to talk to women about the importance of the environment, was actually saying, educating more women around the globe will actually, it's actually third or sixth on the list to actually reduce our carbon footprint. I thought that was phenomenal.
And I'd love to introduce you, Adria. She is California's National Organization of Women, Khalifa chapter. And so it's one of the largest. So I'm so grateful that you're here and that you're working. Adria, what else could I say about you? More?
I'm launching Rupa Das, right? Rupa Das, the World Women Foundation.
The World Women, and it's the National Organization of Women.
Right, so it's a political organization, and so we help support women understanding their civic responsibility. That's our goal for women of color in particular. So often we've been kind of not understanding why we need to engage civically because of all the things that happened in the past. So our job is to help them understand the importance of civic engagement. So I'm the community director for, and so launching.
So Adria is the community director for that, and that's another resource that we'll be bringing for
San Diego next year. So
right, from Miracle Makers to Earth Day. Thank you, Adria, so much. Thank you.
Excellent.
You're welcome, beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
CK, I know.
One last thing that I promise I'll be quiet. You know, something that really saddens me, I stopped eating meat as a child because as soon as I was told that little Billy was on my platter, that was sort of it for me. Um, and, you know, whenever I would drive down to LA on the 5, there's just this area of cows on mud. And, you know, the methane gas that is produced from cows is only really offensive and bad for the environment when they're not being fed what they're supposed to. They're ruminants. They have a 4-part system. They should be eating grass. And how could we, I mean, if the Humane Society shows up on a film set to make sure that a snake is not hurt, I don't understand how we haven't been able to get the Humane Society involved with the unethical treatment of animals that are heading for people's dining room table, because not only is it sad, you know, what they're doing to the animals, but the methane gas is another horrific pollutant. So is there a way we could get the Humane Society involved in the ethical treatment of animals that are off to grocery stores?
That's really hot.
Yeah.
And I also think about, I mean, I think one of the main ways that we can transform things is also to boycott things and to stop utilizing those things. And yes, the meat industry is one of the most polluting, environmentally devastating industries there is. So that's a major area that needs to be addressed. And we've adopted also Eat More Plant as one of our principles for Earth Day Greater LA. And we're also looking at the potential of the majority, if not all, of the food vendors being vegetarian or vegan, and that we're not advertising that as that this is a vegan event, but just recognizing this is a community event, but that it's a real opportunity for people to come and then experience, have a vegetarian or vegan experience. And we're really looking for top, you know, celebrity vegan chefs to do demonstrations there. And we've already spoken with an organization, a Latino cultural organization, to do a sustainable food demonstrations as well in Spanish. So we're really looking at how do we shift our way of doing things for real systemic change as well.
Oh, thank you so much. That systemic change as well. And I love Mother Teresa's philosophy on this. She says, don't invite me to a protest, invite me to a cause. And that cause for more plants is really, really beautiful to approach it from this empowered space. The other thing is, I love how Greg and my son approached this, which is as athletes. Greg, is there anything you want to say about that, the plant movement, really to bring in, it's our natural way in this process. One touch of nature makes us all kin, is a William Shakespeare quote. And when we get in touch with our human nature, when we get in touch with our true nature, that nature draws our attraction to plants and draws from us the healthiest things that we can put into our body. Baby, anything you want to add to that from your own journey?
Well, just, you know, watching informative movies like The Game Changers is out now, and it's showcasing athletes that have gone plant-based to improve performance. So there's, aside from, you know, you're looking for any trigger that'll get a person to take movement on their diet. So whether it's love of animals or love of the ability to compete at a higher level, whatever that is, you know, showcase that, bring it out, highlight it. You know, people are becoming champions now in plant-based diets. So that's not you know, an obstacle any longer.
And I want to add in, as witnessing Elijah and the whole coalition that came together, literally everything, every detail is being thought about. The carbon footprint from the April 19th, 2020 event, every detail to make sure it's in resonance with each of the organizations, the philosophy. I witnessed it. I'm part of that. And so thank you for bringing that in, and that plant-based, and really even all of, we discussed making sure everything fits with the principles that it stands with each of the sponsors as well, to go in and look and connect deeply with that. Elijah, anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, any and all the resources that you've mentioned now or come to mind, we would really like for our website to link to all these different resources, the different books, articles, videos, all those different things. So any lists that you can provide that would be good to share with people, please forward that our way, so that we can really make sure that they're just an incredible source for people's lives and transformation.
It's our commitment here at Miracle Makers, and we'll make sure you get that. Miracle Makers, that was Elijah Carter. We had Mara Hoffman, we had Greg Larson, we had Adria, we had CK chime in. Elijah Carter, 50-year anniversary, all of your research, all of your wonderful, wonderful work for Earth Day Los Angeles. Thank you so, so much. Miracle Makers, we're going to make sure through our newsletter you have all of the resources and know the list and know how to find Elijah and the Earth Day Los Angeles .live coming forward. Is that, I think it's, let me correct myself, earthdayla.live, correct?
Yes, earthdayla.live. Perfect.
earthdayla.live. So I wanted to correct myself. That's where you can find and pledge and RSVP and do so much of what we're creating. Miracle Makers, we'll keep you informed. If you're in miraclemakersacademy.com, these are the conversations and the resources. We'll make sure you have everybody that we connected with today. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lori Wessel said, wonderful being here. Grateful for the inspiration and for all your passion for 2020 vision, for our worldwide revolution to be at peace within and caretake our Mother Earth together, taking the third side. So dear Miracle Makers, today we discussed and utilized the wisdom of William Uri, who spoke about taking the third side and how to always find the third side in every conversation. We spoke and created that you are the solution. Collectively, the collective unconscious and the collective conscious, the visioning and the work that you're doing, what you're rehearsing over and over again is what we get to experience. We also dove into the work of Dr. Nadine from San Francisco, where she spoke about adverse childhood experiences and how that created a difficulty for adults to really be able to see the world, their DNA, the transcription, the way that they see the world. So if you are seeing someone struggling, homeless, or angry, or emotions that are harmful to themselves and to the environment, the feeling to have in your heart, what to create is compassion and love. The same way that we're planting trees here on Earth now, same way we're advocating for Earth Day to really, really go in and generate and understand if they could do better, they would. And one of the best things that you can do is get into a group, into an organization, into a process that's helping Mother Earth and develop and reduce all that you do that impacts Earth. And so I end with that for today's masterclass. Thank you so much for joining us. And please feel free to reach out on Miracle Makers Academy. Also, please reach out at support at Dr. Sarah Larson. I'd love to help you be able to connect to anything that you saw here. And if you're interested in an arc crystal, an advanced resonance kinesthetic shift in your vitality, health, wellness, this is what we do with all of these resources, is we generate these connections. Again, reach out, Miracle Makers Academy. We're so excited to get you connected, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday. This Sunday, we're going to be live from our winter solstice gathering, 5:30 Pacific to 7:30, a cacao ceremony honoring the earth with a Mayan elder that's here. We will honor all the lights. We'll dig deeply, find music and the deep seeds that are within you. Advocate that. So our gift exchange, I want you to be able to model this for your own community. Our gift exchange for the past few years have been services. Instead of buying or purchasing something else to give, we recommend in our gift exchange that you write your service onto a card that we provide, a gift card. It goes into an envelope, and we're exchanging our services rather than consuming. We're making promises to plant trees and gather and honor the earth. Thank you so much. Thank you, Elijah. I'm going to unmute us all. Thank you, Greg, so much. Thank you, CK. Please make noise and let everyone know what you're doing here. Woohoo!
Hello. Have a wonderful day.
Have a wonderful day. Ooh, I think Maura and I are unmuting.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye for now. Bye for now, everyone.